The quiet street changed every night when the lights turned on and the sounds of the day slowly faded away. The houses stood close together, and most families slept early, but one small home always stayed gently awake. Inside lived a young mother named Anna, and her baby son Leo. Anna was still learning the rhythm of caring for a child. Her days were filled with soft cries, warm bottles, slow walks around the room, and moments of tired joy. Leo was small and gentle, with bright, curious eyes and a calm presence that made the house feel alive even in silence. Leo slept in a room facing the street. A single window allowed moonlight and soft yellow street glow to enter at night. Anna liked that light. It made the room feel safe and warm. She often stood there rocking Leo while the world outside stayed quiet. She never imagined that someone else would also be watching that window from the dark. One night as Anna placed Leo into his crib, she felt a strange pull toward the glass. She did not know why her body moved before her thoughts. She lifted the curtain just a little, and her breath caught a large German shepherd sat outside on the sidewalk, directly beneath the window. His fur looked rough and dusty, like he had traveled far. His body was still not tense, not afraid. His eyes were locked on the window, not wild, but focused. Anna stepped back, holding Leo close. Her heart beat fast. She waited for the dog to bark or move closer, but he did nothing. He only sat there calm and silent, as if this was his place. After a long moment, the dog stood up slowly, turned once as if making sure everything was fine, and walked away into the shadows. Anna told herself, it was nothing, a stray passing through the area. Maybe he was drawn to the light or warmth. That thought helped her sleep, but only for a little while. The next night, he came back. At the same time as before, he appeared from the darkness and took his place beneath the window. Anna watched from the hallway. This time her body felt tense, but her mind was curious. Leo slept peacefully in his crib. The dog did not move. He did not scratch the door or pace the fence. He only watched. Night after night, the same thing happened. The dog returned, always quiet, always alert, always staring into the baby room. Anna began to notice patterns. He arrived when Leo fell asleep and left shortly before sunrise. He never came during the day. He never approached any other house, only this one, only that window. The neighbors started talking about the dog. Some said he must be dangerous. Others said they had seen him walking alone for weeks, never begging, never causing trouble. A few children tried to follow him once, but he calmly walked away without looking back. Anna asked a woman named Sarah who lived across the street if she knew anything about the dog. Sarah shook her head and said he only appears at night like a shadow. She said she felt no fear when she saw him, only confusion. Inside the house, Anna began to feel something new each night. When the dog was outside, Leo slept longer. His breathing stayed steady. He did not wake crying as often. Anna found herself calmer too. Even when she was tired, there was a sense of quiet safety that wrapped around the room like an invisible wall. One night Leo woke suddenly and began to fuss. Anna hurried into the room and gently lifted him before she could soothe him. A loud noise echoed from down the street. A car door slammed hard, followed by voices raised in anger. Anna froze. Her body tightened as she held Leo close. Outside, the German shepherd stood up. His body changed in an instant. His ears lifted, his muscles tensed, and his eyes turned toward the sound. He placed himself closer to the fence, directly under the window, as if putting his body between the noise and the baby. The voices faded. The car drove away, and the dog slowly sat back down. Leo stopped crying. Anna felt tears rise to her eyes without knowing why. Something deep inside her shifted. Fear slowly gave way to understanding. This dog was not watching with hunger or threat. He was watching with purpose. The next morning, Anna stood by the window and looked down at the sidewalk. Paw prints were visible in the dust beneath the window. They were always there, every morning, leading away into the street, never toward the door. She began to wonder if the dog had once been part of a family. Maybe he had protected someone small before. Maybe he remembered something that tied him to this place. That evening, Anna placed a small bowl of water near the fence. Before nightfall, she watched from inside. As darkness came, the dog appeared. As always, he paused when he saw the bowl. He looked up at the window, and then back at the water. He did not drink. He walked to his usual spot, and sat down, eyes fixed on Leo room again. Anna felt her chest tighten. She whispered softly to herself, as if the dog could hear her through the glass, "Thank you." For the first time, she felt no fear, only a growing need to understand. The dog stayed until morning, once again guarding, watching, listening. And Anna knew this was only the beginning. The second week passed, and the dog continued his silent visits every night. Anna no longer closed the curtain fully. She left a small gap so she could see him without being seen. Her fear had softened into concern and curiosity. She studied his movements carefully. He never slept deeply. His head lifted at every sound. His body always faced the baby window, as if nothing else in the world mattered. During the day, Anna found herself thinking about him while feeding Leo, while cleaning the small kitchen, while walking back and forth with the stroller inside the house. She wondered where the dog went after sunrise. She wondered if he had food, if he was cold, if someone had once loved him. One morning Anna spoke to Mark again. He stood outside watering his plants and nodded when she mentioned the dog. Mark said he had tried to leave food out once, but the dog never touched it until the house lights were off. He said the dog behaved like one trained for duty, not like a lost animal wandering without purpose. That word duty stayed with Anna all day. That evening Anna made a decision. She waited until Leo was asleep and the house was quiet. She put on a warm coat and stepped outside for the first time since the dog had appeared. The night air was cool, and still the streetlight hummed softly above her. The dog was already there, sitting in his usual place. He noticed her instantly. His ears lifted and his body became alert, but he did not move closer or run away. His eyes stayed on Anna, calm and watchful. Anna stopped several steps away. Her heart beat fast, but she did not turn back. She spoke softly, as if speaking to a frightened child. "Hello," she said quietly. The dog did not respond, but his head tilted slightly. He studied her face, then looked toward the window, then back at her. "I will not hurt you," Anna whispered. "I just want to understand." She slowly placed a bowl of food on the ground near the fence and stepped back. The dog stood, but did not approach the food. Instead he walked a few steps toward Anna, stopped, and sat again. He was closer now, close enough that Anna could see a faint scar along his neck and the tired lines around his eyes. "You are protecting him, aren't you?" she said, her voice shaking. At the sound of her words, the dog looked back at the window again. His body leaned toward it just slightly, then he sat still. Anna felt tears in her eyes. This was no stray, this was a guardian. She backed away slowly and returned inside without closing the door fully. From the window she watched as the dog returned to his spot beneath Leo's room. The food remained untouched. That night Leo slept through until morning. The next day Anna noticed something new. While cleaning the room she found an old mark on the inside wall beneath the window, a faint scratch pattern like something heavy had once pressed against the outside long ago. She felt a strange chill and brushed it away. She decided to ask the previous owner of the house if possible. After some calls she found an elderly woman named Ruth who had lived there years before Anna visited her with Leo bundled close. Ruth listened quietly as Anna described the dog and the nightly visits. Ruth closed her eyes and nodded slowly. She said years ago a family lived there with a baby boy. They owned a German Shepherd trained for protection. She said the dog never left the child's side day or night, rain or sun. Then Ruth paused. Her voice grew heavy. She said one night there was an accident, a fire in the neighboring house, panic, smoke, and chaos. The family moved away soon after. The dog disappeared that same week. Anna felt her breath catch. She asked what happened to the baby. Ruth looked at Leo and smiled softly. "The baby survived," she said, "thanks to the dog." Anna returned home shaken. Her mind replayed the story again and again. That night when the dog appeared, Anna opened the door quietly and stepped outside again. She did not speak this time. She simply sat on the steps holding a blanket. The dog turned his head toward her and slowly walked closer. He stopped a short distance away and lay down facing the window. Anna wrapped the blanket around herself and waited. Minutes passed in silence. Then she whispered, "He is safe now." The dog lifted his head and looked at her. His eyes reflected the streetlight and something else, something like relief. That night for the first time, the dog rested his head on his paws and closed his eyes for a few moments, still alert but no longer tense. Anna cried silently watching him. The bond between them had formed without touch, without sound, without fear. And the reason for his watch was finally becoming clear. The nights after Anna learned the truth felt different. The silence outside no longer frightened her. It felt shared, like an unspoken promise between the woman inside the house and the dog beneath the window. There was now understanding. Leo continued to sleep peacefully, and the dog continued to return every night as faithful as before, but something inside him had softened. Anna began to leave the door slightly open each night, not wide enough to invite cold air, but enough to show trust. The dog noticed. He would glance toward the door, and then back to the window, always choosing his place of watch first. His duty still came before comfort. During the day Anna searched for more answers. She wanted to know everything about the family who lived there before, about the baby the dog had once guarded. She returned to Ruth, who shared small details piece by piece. Ruth said the dog name had been Max. He had been trained carefully with patience and love. He followed simple rules: protect, stay alert, never leave the child alone. Ruth said after the fire the family moved far away. They believed Max had run off during the chaos. They searched for him for days, but never found him. They had no idea he might have stayed right where his duty began. Anna returned home with her heart heavy and full at the same time. That evening she stood by the window holding Leo. She spoke softly, telling him a story, not one with words, but one with feeling. She told him he was safe. She told him he was protected. Outside Max listened. That night something changed. A soft sound came from the street, a slow step followed by another. Anna looked out, and saw a stranger walking past the house. The man moved without purpose and glanced around too often. Max rose instantly. His body became firm and strong. His eyes locked onto the stranger. He stood tall between the sidewalk and the window. The stranger hesitated, then continued walking without looking back. Max remained standing until the sound faded, then he slowly returned to his place and sat again. Leo never stirred. Anna felt tears fall freely. Now she understood fully. This dog was not trapped by the past. He was choosing to stay. He was choosing to protect. The following morning, Anna made another decision. She placed a note on the fence explaining gently that the dog was peaceful and should not be disturbed. She spoke to neighbors, asking them to give him space. Most agreed. Others watched quietly from their windows as they too began to understand. Days passed, then weeks. Max grew thinner, but never weak. Anna worried about his strength. She tried again with food, placing it closer to the window. This time she whispered to him that Leo was safe during the day. She promised she would watch while the sun was up. One night Max approached the bowl slowly. He paused, looked up at the window, and then at Anna, who stood quietly inside. She nodded softly. Max ate for the first time while still keeping his body angled toward the window. It felt like trust settling into place. Soon Anna noticed Max sleeping for longer moments. His breathing deepened. His head rested fully on the ground. He still woke at every sound, but the edge of constant tension was fading. He was no longer alone in his duty. Anna spoke to a local shelter about Max. She explained everything carefully. She did not want him taken away. She wanted help. She wanted someone to check his health without breaking his bond. A kind woman named Helen agreed to come quietly. One evening she approached slowly and spoke gently. Max allowed her near without fear. Helen confirmed he was older than he looked. His body carried years of work and waiting. She said he needed rest and warmth and stability. Anna knew what she had to do, but the thought terrified her. What if bringing Max inside confused him? What if it took him away from the window, from his purpose? That night, Anna sat on the floor of Leo's room holding him close. Max was outside as always. She opened the door fully and stepped out carrying a blanket. She placed it gently on the ground beneath the window and then stepped back inside, leaving the door open. Max looked at the blanket, then at the door, then at the window. Slowly, carefully, he lay down on the blanket. His body relaxed more than Anna had ever seen. His eyes stayed open, but his tail rested gently beside him. Anna whispered through the open door, "You are not alone anymore." For the first time Max let out a soft sound, not a bark, not a growl, just a breath of release. Leo slept peacefully above them both. The bond had grown stronger than fear, stronger than memory. And the final choice was coming soon. The final nights of waiting arrived quietly and gently. Max continued to lie beneath the window each evening, but now he rested on the blanket Anna had placed there. His body no longer shook with constant alertness, yet his purpose remained clear. His eyes still lifted at every sound and always returned to the window where Leo slept safely inside. Anna felt a deep mix of gratitude and sadness. She knew Max had given years of his life to protection. Without comfort, without rest, without reward. He stayed not because he had to, but because his heart never released its promise. She often stood by the open door watching him while holding Leo close, whispering soft words that carried no sound beyond the warm night air. One evening rain began to fall slowly. The street grew dark and empty. The blanket beneath the window grew damp. Anna stepped outside without hesitation and called Max softly. He looked at her, then back at the window, then at Leo, who slept peacefully inside. Anna stepped back into the house and left the door open wide, placing a second blanket just inside the doorway. Max hesitated for a long moment. His body stayed still, torn between duty and invitation. Then slowly, carefully he stood and walked forward. He paused at the doorway and lifted his head, listening. He stepped inside and sat just beneath the window, facing outward, guarding from within for the first time. Anna sank to the floor and cried quietly, not from sadness but from release. From that night on, Max stayed inside. The window remained his place. His eyes remained watchful, but his body was warm and dry. His breathing grew deep and steady. He slept longer than he ever had before. Days passed and Max began to change. His fur grew softer, his steps slower, his eyes gentler. Anna took him to the shelter, where Helen helped officially place Max with her. No one argued, no one questioned it. The story had already spread through the neighborhood. People nodded with quiet respect when they saw him resting inside the house. One afternoon Anna received a letter forwarded through Ruth. It was from the family who once lived there. They had never stopped missing Max. They wrote about the fire, about the chaos, about the heartbreak of losing him. They believed he had saved their baby that night and wished they could thank him. Anna held the letter with trembling hands. She did not know what to do at first, then she knew exactly what to do. She wrote back explaining everything carefully. She told them Max was safe. She told them he had never left his duty. She told them he had protected another child without being asked. She included photos of Max resting beneath the window and Leo sleeping peacefully nearby. The reply came weeks later. The family thanked her with tears on paper. They said Max had chosen his place, and they honored that choice. They asked only one thing: to know that he was loved. Anna smiled through her tears because that answer was already clear. Time moved forward. Leo grew stronger. He learned to crawl, then stand, then walk. His laughter filled the house. Max followed him slowly, watching every step, never interfering, never leaving his side. When Leo stumbled, Max stood firm beside him. When Leo slept, Max rested near the window, his duty now shared with warmth and belonging. One quiet evening, Anna watched Max lift his head and look at Leo sleeping. Then he closed his eyes fully, without tension, without worry. His watch had changed from guard to peace. Anna understood then why she cried when she learned the truth. It was not sadness, it was the weight of loyalty so deep it crossed years, fire, loss, and loneliness to protect a life not his own. Max did not stare into the window anymore. He slept beneath it, knowing his promise was finally complete.